Okay, hello. Hello, let me see. Everything seems good. All right. All right, so we're going to be continuing where we left off yesterday. It was in the middle of a big chapter. A lot of stuff happened. Unfortunately, at the time, I had to kind of just pretty much leave. It was getting pretty late, and I had to end the stream, so I couldn't finish it. I don't know how short or how much longer this chapter was, but what happened was actually pretty insane, like pretty crazy. Like the whole oh my god, of course when I'm streaming, of course the whole torture chamber scene was pretty crazy. We kind of like saw various moments of like of essentially Mion very literally getting like possessed by a demon. That's what it was implying. Keiichi said, "Oh, let Shion go, get away from Mion's body, and whatever. Let me, and you can kill me or something like that." And the demon was like straight up like, "No, I'm gonna keep her body." So I don't know. I guess it's implying that there really is supernatural possessions. You know, the first part was very it was kind of a little looser when it came to its like supernatural aspects. They didn't particularly tell you like, yeah, it's fully supernatural or no, it's not supernatural. It was kind of like a mixed bag, you know, like you could believe it. Maybe Keiichi was going crazy, maybe he wasn't. But in this part, it was very clear that they were just straight up telling you like, yeah, it is supernatural. Mion is possessed, and she has been killing pretty, or at least involved in a lot of the deaths that happened throughout the years. And from what it sounds, she really did kill Rika and Satoko. Like it was really her who killed them, and even the mayor. And was essentially just leaving Shion alive to essentially just torture her by kind of showing her like killing the rest of the people, and eventually probably killing Keiichi as well. Like that was going to be the end goal. So yeah, quite a heavy last chapter we left off on. It was really good. I'd say once we went to the underground torture chamber, it got a little silly for me. But the not silly, it wasn't like obviously like, but it was like, oh shit, okay, we're going this way. It was kind of like surprising, I guess, like, okay, we are actually just going this direction. But I think what's the conversation that Mion and Rena and Keiichi had, that was really good. I really liked that conversation a lot, and I was a little taken aback if you watch the previous stream when they were starting to talk about the sort of like war crimes that Japan did during World War II with like a lot of the human experimentation and stuff like that. I was really taken aback by that because, you know, from my limited perspective, it always seemed like it was like, especially from official government, like Japanese government, they very rarely ever apologize, or they apologize in very dismissively and never really want to acknowledge that part of history. You know, like when you watch something like Godzilla -1 or something, they're not showing you Japan for what a lot of the worst things that they did. And even in like other cultural sort of representations of Japan around that time, often focuses on what America did to Japan, you know. And while sure, that was obviously not like something that you could like, I don't like comparing like tragedies, you know, being like, oh, one is worse than the other, so one should be chastised more than the other. I don't think that's fair. But like, just from Japan's perspective of like a writer in Japan, you know, this isn't written by someone in America or like anywhere else talking about Japan or having a setting in Japan. This is written by a Japanese man telling a very, very Japanese story. This is a very, very Japanese story. You know, the whole cultural aspect of like a type of like prejudice that exists within rural cultures. It seems very, very, very tied down to the specific experience of like Japanese culture. And from what I understand, like Ryukishi 07 specifically was like some sort of like civil servant, you know, like worked with children, I think, like, you know, like a sort of like a social worker type of person. So it's obvious that he has experience with understanding like what people go through in these situations of like civil like unrest, you know, like cultural expectations. You know, that has a lot to do with Mion's story. Is, you know, she was sort of raised to be the demon, so she became the demon, you know, like that's her purpose in life, because that's what her culture and her family essentially made her to be, you know. All that aspect was very, very interesting. I think when we, like I said, which is why like I was kind of like, again, I wasn't checked out during that whole entire sequence, but I was definitely like feeling the heavy exposition. You know, I kind of like it when there's like dynamics between characters, and but when Mion dropped that, it really brought us like dropped the conversation about like the sort of war crimes. It really brought me to like a more interested sort of like look into this conversation about what her father went through, what her father did, and sort of like how the Japanese you know, people still viewed him as like a man-eater, essentially, because that's sort of what his family is known for. And it seems almost like the world itself is leading him to that cause by him being drafted into the army, and then essentially like the Japanese military, and essentially finding himself in a situation where he does do human harvesting. You know, maybe that's a sixth sense of destiny, like this is what you're always meant to do, you are a demon, which is why, you know, like someone like Mion did what she did. Maybe she feels because on maybe a slight circumstantial way, like her father ended up being exactly what everyone thought he was. Now her being the daughter and the inheritor of this you know, community and this family, she feels like, well, I gotta kill Rika, I gotta kill Satoko, you know, like even if I don't agree and don't think that this is what we are, it'll all lead back to this, you know. All of that is very interesting to me. I really like all of that, which is why that part was pretty interesting. Again, I thought, like, you know, the torture chamber shit is, you know, that's a little absurd, but I like the absurd with the sort of like realism, you know, like it makes things more interesting. But anyway, enough yapping. Let's continue. I just really like last part. And again, I don't know how much more of this chapter is. I feel like this is the last chapter and it's kind of about to end. That's how I felt when I ended last stream. And that's because, you know, I was a little tired and also I had to go. But anyway, let's get back into it. I just wanted to talk about that so we can sort of get back in the mood of like what we were seeing. And again, Keiichi he was ready to get tortured, and then Miona, the police pretty much just came in and were like, hey, you've been down here for 3 hours, what's going on? You know, because come on, how come they didn't swarm the place sooner? Yeah, they essentially, Keiichi was saved right before he got tortured. And yeah, that was oh yeah, and the last and very important thing is the scene that I really liked. I really liked that scene, which is the scene where it was essentially Keiichi trying to understand why Mion was mad at him, and to find out that it was just because, you know, quote unquote, just because he didn't get like her, like the doll. All of that led to this, essentially. I find that very interesting, you know, because I just find the sort of idea of like this sort of like expectation of like gender identity pretty interesting. You know, like Mion is very, very tomboyish, but she does have her feminine side that she probably feels very insecure about expressing. You know, she feels like it's too late for her to express her feminine side, or like it's just not expected of her. You know, she's the head of a house, you know, she's supposed to be the demon. And at the end of the day, her best friend, who, I mean, come on, let's face it. I don't know if I said it before, but it's pretty obvious. Like, she obviously likes Keiichi much more than Keiichi realizes because he's a fucking idiot. But yeah, like, you know, she probably wants to be very, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, emotional? No, like, intimate. You know, intimate, when I say intimate, obviously I don't mean like, you know, like sexually intimacy, you know, like intimate can be like a spectrum of things, you know, just like romantic intimacy with Keiichi, but you know, Keiichi has, it's funny because Keiichi always says, "You're my best friend," and maybe that might hurt like a lot more than he realized, being called your best friend when obviously she wants something else, you know. Anyway, I'm done yapping. All right, June 1983, the string of disappearance occurred in Hinamizawa Village, Shishibon City, XX Prefecture. The suspect is Mion Sonozaki, blank years old. I think they 14, 15. I think that's around the age these kids are. She is suspected to have kidnapped 5 Hinamizawa residents between June 19th and June 21st. Oryu Sonozaki. Oh, wait, did she go missing as well? Oryu Sonozaki, Shion Sonozaki, Kichiro Kimiyoshi, Rika Furude, and Satoko Hojo imprisoned them and killed them. Preliminary investigations on the incident were delayed at the time due to insufficient evidence, but it was resolved coincidentally and shockingly. On the morning of the 23rd, a vehicle patrolling the Sonozaki property heard screams from inside and rushed in as an emergency measure. They secured the suspect's missing sister, Shion Sonozaki, and her 2 missing classmates, Keiichi Maibara and Rena Ryugu. The suspect fled the scene. Oh, she got away. Deep in the detached basement on the Sonozaki property, which is believed to have used to kill those who disappeared, we discovered hair, flakes of skin, blood, etc. Of the other 4 missing persons, Oryu Sonozaki, Keiichiro Kimiyoshi, Rika Furude, and Satoko Hojo, we concluded that the missing persons were tortured in the torture chamber. Persons were tortured. I think that's redundant, but sure. However, their remains have still not been found. At one of her imprisoned classmates' advice, we continued searching the detached basement of the Sonozaki property, which was where they were imprisoned. Believing that they were there, however, we still have not located them or the suspect's escape route. In addition, investigations are continuing as to her participation in the serial freak deaths incident of recent years, thinking it would give us some clues, but no evidence that Mion Sonozaki was involved either directly or indirectly has been found. There are still many unclear points as to the motives behind the incident, and as those of the Sonozaki family and the residents of Hinamizawa have been extremely cooperative in assisting us, we expect to require a long time to clarify them. The opinion of a local officer knowledgeable about the region is that this may have been a lynching, an internal form of punishing sacrilegious acts carried out against the beliefs of Hinamizawa village. It is clear that these incidents are particularly rooted in this region, and the prefectural police department has ordered a cautious investigation. We anticipated gaining valuable clues from the missing person believed to have been imprisoned for the longest time, Shion Sonozaki, the suspect's younger sister. But her mind was stricken by a grave after effect of the incident, and she has not been in a state of mind to properly answer any questions about what she knows. The psychiatrist concluded that she is in a temporary state of shock, but it doesn't seem hopeful that she will recover today either. Wow. I'm not surprised, honestly, that she's just like kind of catatonic. Only a few days have passed since that time. After that, I was rescued by Oishi-san and his subordinates, whom Rena had called in. Aside from my entirely blank state of mind, I had no external injuries. The most I had was a small burn mark from where the stun gun hit me. As I was having a checkup in the hospital, Oishi-san asked me all sorts of things, but I didn't really remember what he asked or how I answered. From what I heard, surprisingly, Mion still hadn't been captured. There were apparently a great many hallways and smaller rooms extended out from the depths of the prison. It wouldn't be strange if she... Okay. It wouldn't be strange if she had fled to one of those herself. The one fortunate aspect amidst all the misfortune was that Shion had been safely secured by the police. When I last saw Mion, she seemed like she was going to take me with her and kill me. She probably didn't have enough time to, though, since Ueshi-san came running in faster than she predicted. That was the only really fortunate thing to have happened. Of course, the rescued Shion, despite having no external wounds, now had a big, deep wound in her heart. She was in a severe state of confusion when they rescued her, and apparently she bit the police officer trying to resist. From what I heard, she was seeing Mion in everyone she saw. Hated not only the hospital, but even her own home. Somewhere in Shishibone, hiding her location. Additionally, in fear of Mion would come for her. She was moving from place to place every day, and even her parents weren't sure where she actually was. Wherever she was living, even now, Shion was spending her days in fear of Mion's shadow. The police investigated the Sonozaki underground storehouse at this moment. Since they couldn't find the remains of the other sacrifices, hadn't Mion thrown them corpses in a well? I had a feeling I said that to him. That meant hidden tunnel, vertical like a well, was somewhere in those underground passages. A secret underground without any maps or architectural drawings, which had swallowed the remains of Rika, Satoko, and everyone else, was still unwilling to speak the truth. I was brought back to the basement again too for an on-site inspection or something, but I didn't remember being of any help. I never wanted to go back there again. Wait, so... Okay, so it has been a while. Like, Shion essentially just left and was like, I'm just gonna be on my own. Unwilling to speak the truth. I brought back, yeah. For days afterwards, the Sonozaki's living in Okinomiya. In other words, Mion's and Shion's parents, the big name Yakuza, would come to our house to apologize, bringing many of their followers with them. However, much my parents refused it. They piled up many 100,000 yen bills, calling it consolation money every day. The amount of money grew each day, and after it had passed 2 million yen, they were then given an envelope containing a letter. I don't know what was written in the letter. My parents talked about it themselves for 2 whole nights and decided to move away. Oh wow, we're actually just moving away. Oh, was that on purpose? Or was that like a graphical glitch where it just like flashed Rena? Or was that on purpose? I see. Yeah, I guess I'm leaving. The end of next month. Oh my god, I feel really bad for Rena though. Literally, her friend is essentially a convicted criminal. Her other 2 friends got killed, and now Keiichi's moving away. This is really sad. Holy shit. Oh, come on, don't say that. You're gonna make me cry. Like, don't say that. Rena smiled sadly. If I had just said yeah, I thought it would make her even more lonely, so I changed the subject. That's how I broached it. Mion hadn't actually fled, but had been demoned away in the truest sense of the term. Where she went after she disappeared, that we didn't know. That was there, where she had disappeared to. I hope there was a hobby shop dealing in imports, the kind Mion liked. In that place, she would definitely be free from the burdensome feathers of her family. and live not as Mion Sonozaki, but as just Mion, and enjoy herself. Maybe she already met up with Satoko and Rika-chan. They must also have been waiting for the day Rena and I would join them, spending all their time doing club activities as they live as lively as they always were. When I told Rena that, she smiled and nodded to me. Oh my god, that's really fucking sad. The incident the Sonozaki family had been trying so hard to hide to, were exposed to by the magazine from this single tiny seam. A serial incident of recent years were all pulled up like a long vine in the ground, one by one, and for many days news of it was brought up on talk and variety shows. The shows, which were comedic and silly, never once tried to touch upon the grim, heavy history that Mion had been bearing. It made me mad to see them bringing this stuff up in jest, but there was nothing I could do about it now. How big an impression would these short few weeks I spent in Hinamizawa have on my life? During these few weeks, I met my best friends and had the best experience of my life. I would probably never forget it as long as I live. As the distorted image of Mion that the media created, after the masses got tired of treating her like a plaything, they would ball her up, throw her in the trash, and then she would fade from their memory. As one of the few people who really knew Mion, I must always make sure I remember her. Beyond any doubt, that will surely become my offering to her. The sky reached so far up and towering I can never pronounce that word. Oh my god, I can never pronounce that word. It's the fucking word from Up. Cumulonimbus. Omnibus. It's an omnibus. Cloud floated through it. A real summer was just before our eyes. Even now, whenever 10 p.m. came around, I would expect a phone call from Shion, or Mion rather. Now that everything was over, of course, she would never call me. But it was precisely because she wouldn't call me that I was scared of who would call me this time. Plus, Mion still hadn't been caught. I could say for sure that everything was completely over. On the other side of that fear, though, were my prayers for that Mion was safe. Then I would like that I was able to sleep even with such terrifying thoughts. The lights were off. Before her attacking when the lights were off was something that scared me. However, the feeling changed to regret within 2 days. The moonlight filtering through the gap in the curtains shone onto the desk and illuminated a doll. That's right, the doll that I should have given to me on that day. She said it was an import from England or something, and was all the rage, didn't she? From what she said, the most popular among them were the ones wearing a frilly dress, or a fluffy dress. After being released from the incident, the first place I went to was that toy store. Everything was apparently sold out besides the things on the storefront display. I was refused once when they said they wouldn't sell the display products, but when they realized I was a survivor from that incident, they immediately consented. Of course, even if I bought it, I might never have the chance to give it to her again. Even knowing that, I waited for the opportunity to give it to her. I waited like this for the opportunity, with it on my desk so I could give it to her at any time. Plunk. There was a weird noise. It was a noise I wasn't used to hearing. It was too big to be raindrops, and it was completely different from the sound lots bugs make when they ram into the fluorescent lights. I figured I must have misheard and nestled back into my futon. Plunk. The noise happened again. I wasn't hearing things. I definitely heard it. Where was it coming from? I got up and turned on the lights. If there was a second, there would be a third. From where, though? I listened carefully. Plunk. The window. Some sort of pebble? Were colliding with my window. When I realized they were being blown there by the wind, when I realized they weren't being blown there by the wind, but rather being thrown by a person, I gave a start. I looked at the clock. It was 2 a.m. Who would it be at all times like this? I quietly peeked out front through the gap in the curtains. In the light at the gate, despite it being so late, I saw someone. They picked up a piece of gravel and threw it at this window. It hit the window and made a plunking noise. Who was it? I caught my breath in surprise. If my eyes weren't deceiving me, the person was Mion. I threw open the window and looked at the figure again. Oh my god, she's actually here. My eyes certainly weren't deceiving me. It was Mion. It was Mion. She was alive. Mion pressed her index fingers onto her lips and made a shh motion so I wouldn't shout. If she hadn't, well, I was nearly about to cry out. Mion was in a very delicate position right now. Even if it was the middle of the night, I shouldn't call out her name. I waved to her, gesturing that I'll be right over, flung on my coat atop of my pajamas, and flew out the door. I quickly hit the brakes just before going down to the stairs. Although happiness was sprouting within me, I had a sad feeling that this would be our final parting. So I went back to my room again and grabbed a doll. If there was a god, I don't think I would have ever thanked him as much as today. Even if it would be the last time we ever see each other, I was so grateful for this one chance to give it to her. I slipped into my sandals, unlocked the door, unhooked the chain, and leaped out the house.
Mio! お久しぶり。どう？元気にしてた？
Yeah, girl, I'm good. It was like how we used to meet every morning. Mion waved to me and responded like she always did. It was doubtlessly Mion. It was the real Mion.
お前、こんなところをうろついてて、大丈夫なのか？本当はいけないよ。
She certainly was acting like she knew the police were following her. It was almost like she was a patient who had got tired of staying in the hospital and had snuck out. Her speech was relaxed enough to make me think that, and I couldn't help but be surprised. The relaxation I thought was more like Mion, and I was happy for it.
それより、どうしたんだよ、こんな時間に。最後にお話ししたかったから。
I don't know, man. Like, the last time we spent time with her, she pat us on a freaking torture table. How do we know this is the real Mion? And not some demon? That was when I noticed them. On Mion's forehead were big droplets of sweat. Her expression, too, which I thought to be a satisfied smile, was upon closer inspection trembling slightly, and I realized that she was forcing it.
私ね、もうここにはいられない。
A pain note was beginning to enter the words as well, her words as well, as if just smiling was a feat for her.
大丈夫か？どこか具合でも。今日まで頑張ってきたけど。
Oh my god.
自分でもわかるの。もうダメ。もう限界。
Holy shit.
私のお迎えは、もうすぐ後ろまで来てる。
Mion's smile crumbled and started to stiffen. Did she push herself this much to come all the way for me? Oh my god, YouTube, it's just a game. Please, don't, well, I'm not even monetized, so who cares? But don't age restrict this. Her laughter cut off and changed into a rough breathing. I reached out to rub her back, but she knocked me away.
大丈夫かよ。もう無理するな。そうだ。俺、ミオンに。
To give to Mion, this doll. I wanted to do this one last thing because I knew how little time you had left. But this last thing, it... Oh. Whoa. Ugh. My stomach. It's burning. Oh my god, I fucking knew it. Mion took a meat cleaver-like knife and stabbed me. And pushed it in tight. And it took it and twisted it. Oh my god! Mion. Hey. What the... It hurts. Oh my god! I cowered on the ground. My stomach was so hot, it was almost spewing fire. Mion watched it, then took a few steps back and cackled. That's why I just couldn't trust her, man. Like, she's losing it, bro. The last words Mion left me with that day came back to me.
今日を境に、ミオンが戻ってくることはもうない。
From today on, even if my body is here, and body is all it will be, by then the demon will have taken it over. The demon. The demon. The demon. This can't. I thought we had finally been able to meet. This can't. Mion. In a pool of blood of my own design is the doll I bought for Mion. Dyed in red, so red. Mion. The good fortune of having been allowed to meet Mion once more, and the misfortune of that meeting being torn apart before my eyes. Should I be grateful or curse it? My emotions were neither of those, as my consciousness sunk deep into a black swamp. The doll I bought for Mion, the blood had ruined it. No matter how I scrubbed and scrubbed, it had needlessly been ruined. The sad moon was so white it looked frozen. This has gotta be inspired by Tsukihime, not even gonna lie. I know Ryukishi really likes Tsukihime. June 28th, 1983. The violent incident occurred in Hinamizawa Village, Shishibon City, XX Prefecture. The victim was Keiichi Maibara, also a victim of the previous string of disappearance. Around 2 a.m., he was stabbed in the stomach with a bladed object by a suspect of the last case, Mion Sonozaki, and was gravely wounded. So they knew it was her. He was discovered when his parents woke up, then transported to the clinic. He escaped death. The criminal fled the scene. on the same day at approximately the same time, a fall incident occurred in Kimishiki apartment complex in Chichibuin City XX Prefecture. The victim was Shion Sonozaki, also the victim of the previous string of disappearance. Late on the same night, neighbors overheard her having a big fight with someone and informed the manager. The manager used the master key to enter the room and discovered that the victim had fallen from the 8th floor balcony to her death. The room had been torn apart and appeared to have to show traces of a fight. The neighbor has frequently visited the Sonozaki house for a long time and testified that he heard the sounds. He heard what sounded just like the two sisters having a fight, trading insults back and forth. We believe this was related to the injury case that occurred the same day in Hinamizawa village, perpetrated by the said incident suspect, and did a thorough search of the room. But we could not find any traces of that would imply that anyone but the victim was present. The victim fell straight down into the foliage of the parking strip, her neck broken, and she died immediately. Her clothing was disheveled and had markings that would imply a scuffle. We also believe however, that it could have been an insanity-induced suicide attempt based on the particular mental state of the victim after the incident. We are conducting a thorough examination on both fronts, suicide and homicide. Ooh. Yo, this is a heavy ass like chapter. This is a heavy ass chapter. I wonder okay. Okay, you know what? I am glad I ended it last time. This is actually plenty left. I'm surprised he didn't like cut the chapter. Like I feel like cutting the chapter in what's it called? Cutting the chapter during the what's it called? After Mion says let's talk outside or whatever. Like I feel like you could have cut the chapter there and then like continued afterwards. Because the part afterwards is like really long. And I mean, it's still going right now. Only for 5 minutes. Oh my god, it's Oishi. Kaklak. The door opened and as I expected, Oishi-san came in. What do you want, old man? What do you want, old man? Fuck you, old man.
医者が言うには術後の回復は順調だそうですが、あんたの顔を見たらまた傷が悪くなりそうです。
Okay, I'm glad Keiichi's giving him shit. He was such an asshole this route.
こりゃ手厳しい。
As Oishi-san gave a laugh that smelled of sweat, he handed Mom a bag of assorted candies he must have purchased from a souvenir corner on the first floor of the hospital.
すみません、お母さん。ほんのしばらく圭一君とお話しする時間をいただいてもよろしいですか?
Mom clearly wasn't pleased at the thought of the police officer talking to her son without her there. However, I insisted.
悪いけど、ほんのちょっとだけ5分でいいから。
Though grudgingly, Mom left the room. When she closed the door, Oishi-san grinned widely and looked around the room.
個室なんていい身分ですね。うちのばあさまなんかいっつも相部屋ですよ。そりゃもう賑やかなことで、ああいうところじゃ病気の重さが一つのステータスになるらしいんですよ。より重病な患者ほど偉いというか、威張っているというか。
大石さん、5分ですよ。
Yeah, get to the point, old man.
これが本当に最後の5分にしてほしいものです。俺はもうひなみ沢とは関係ないし、ここももうひなみ沢じゃない。
沖宮には総合病院はありませんからね。椅子よろしいですかな。ゆっくらしっと。
Oh, This is a large university hospital in Shishibone city. It was splendidly urban, entirely different from the likes of Hinamizawa and Okinomiya. It was hard to believe Hinamizawa was part of the same city.
転院はいつ頃になりそうですか？
さあ、俺的にはいつでも OK なんですけどね。
Our moving plans were delayed a little because of my serious injury. My parents had already left the house in Hinamizawa though and were living in a new one. They planned to have me transfer hospitals to be closer to the new house once I recovered enough to be taken there. Oh my god. Everyone's being noisy right now.
転院先にまで来ないでくださいよ。
Please don't come to where I
本当
transfer.
に具合が悪くなりますからね。
いや、すっかり嫌われちゃいました。
Cause you fucking beat around the bush too much, bro.
仕事柄とはいえ心苦しいですよ。なので今日はこれまでの罪滅ぼしに素敵なお土産をいろいろお持ちしましたので。
別にクッキーの詰め合わせなんか持ってこなくても。
それがね、実は中身はクッキーじゃないんですよ。ほら。
Well, she pulled open a can of cookies and ow, ow, ow! I'm stretching my scars.
前原さんの好みがわからなかったので、いろいろと持ってきま。ほら、よりどりみどり、野原は黄緑ってなもんです。
From Western to comic strips.
さあさあ、好きなだけ持っていっちゃってください。
What? Wait. All sorts of things. See, all sorts of cute-looking ones from Western to comic strips. Oh, did this motherfucker give this kid porn? What the like head to?
こんな本なんか持ってこないでください。
Oh my
持っ
god,
て帰って持って帰って。いってててててて。
bro, that's not okay. You can't do that. You're an officer too. Well, okay. Well, okay. You know what? Maybe expecting an officer to be. Maybe expecting an officer to be a good form of morality might be asking for too much. So you know what? I'm not surprised.
こんなところにいると看護師フェチにしかなりませんよ。
Bro!
世の中には看護師さん以外にも素晴らしいものがいっぱいあるんです。今から専門を決めないで幅広くオールラウンドに行かなくっちゃ。
I gave Oishi a vulgar laughter, a pain grin. I gave Oishi's vulgar laughter a pain grin. Somehow or other, I understood. The fact that Oishi-san was bringing it up like this meant that he must have had something important to talk about.
シオンさんの件は本当にお気の毒でした。
Yeah, no shit, man. The night I was stabbed by Mion, Shion fell from her balcony and died. They said the police were investigating all possibilities, accident, suicide, and homicide, but it could only have been Mion's doing. Mion found out where Shion was hiding and pushed her down to her death. Nothing else was conclusive.
事故のわけない。
Conceivable. Conclusive. Conceivable. It couldn't have been an
ミオンで
accident.
す。絶対に。
鑑識の連中は自殺だとしか思えないなんて言ってるんですが、私も前原さんと同じ意見です。
Oh yeah, I
シ
don't
オ
think
ンさん
she
を
did
突
this
き
to
落と
herself.
し、さらにあなたを刺した。一晩のうちにね。
ミオンはまだ見つからないんですか？
そうそう。それを今日はお伝えしたくて来たんですよ。はい。実は
Oh, they did
見つ
find
か
her.
ったんです。
あ、いっててててて。
Learning that felt rather strange to me. I was partly relieved that the incident was truly over and that I was partly sorry that my best friend had finally been caught. I felt many more other things too. My heart was a maze of emotion.
それだけじゃない。園崎家の例の地下、隠し井戸も見つかったんですよ。 前原さんがおっしゃられてた通り、失踪者全員の遺体をその
Oh
底
my
で
god,
発
they
見し
actually
ま
did
した。
find them.
そうですか。
The Silver of Hope, the possibility that I believed in, that Rika-chan and Satoko were alive, just from the fact their remains hadn't been found gone.
あの地下に実に巧妙に隠されてました。いやいや、まさに死角中の死角でした。井戸状に掘られた垂直トンネルでして、はしごが設けてあって、下へずーっと行ったところに、今度は横へ抜けるトンネルが作られていました。そこを数百メートルも張って進むと、なんと山中の古井戸に抜けられましたね。
過去の園崎家の当主が作らせた秘密の逃げ道だったんでしょうね。
でしょうな。明治以降に作ったものでしょうが。
In the Meiji era.
いやいや、よくもあんなものを作ったもんです。
みんなの遺体はその底に。
はい。
Oof.
逃げ道の通路よりもさらに下に、コールタール状の底に無造作に投げ込まれていました。相当の高さから落としたわけですから、遺体はどっぷりと遺体の引き上げにはだいぶ苦労させられました。
全員見つかりましたか？
I hope that they at least would find Rika-chan and Satoko. That's what I wished for when I asked, but my shallow hope was crushed in a blink of an
は
eye.
い。全員。それどころか、死後10年以上経過したと思われる人骨も見つかりました。最低でも3人分はあると思われます。
There was at least 3 people. Wait, including the people, like the people who died this time around plus 3 people? Or like just 3 people in general?
南沢の歴史の暗部というわけでしょうな。泥を全部吸い出したら、一体何人分の骨が出てくるやら。怖い話です。
The weight had been pushed down on Mion's shoulder the whole time. Mion.
今、獅子骨市内の過去数十年の失踪者を洗い直しているとこ。諦められてた失踪事件も、これを機に全部解決するんじゃないか、なんて言われてますよ。
After a deep silence, we breathed a heavy sigh. Oshi-san went for a cigarette to pass the time, but realized this was a non-smoking area, so he gave up and put them back in his shirt pocket.
そうそう。これは寄り道なんですが、古出里香さん、ご存知ですよね。
もちろん仲間ですから。
彼女、例えば糖尿病でインスリンの注射を常用していたとか、そんな話はありました？
Insulin? Whoa. Whoa, this came out of nowhere. Huh? Rika-chan has diabetes? I didn't know what he was talking about.
実は彼女のスカートのポッケからですね、注射器が見つかりまして、
A syringe?
破損していたので薬物は特定できなかったのですが、少々不似合いだったので興味を持ちまして、本当にご存知ありません？
Okay, wait, was it the syringe from the first part then? They're assuming it was for diabetes? I didn't know anything about Rika-chan carrying syringes around with her.
園崎家は本業の方、薬剤屋さんのことです。で、覚醒剤を扱ってるとの噂がありましてね。その可能性もあるかなんて思ってたのですが。
リカちゃんが覚醒剤の常用者だっていうのか。
Whoa. Rika-chan's a drug addict.
そうは申してませんよ。ただ、お醤油をもらいに行くついでに注射器を持っていくってのは、どう考えても変ですからね。
I have no idea what any of this means. My eyes are spinning. I feel sick. Also, this is way more than 5 minutes, bro.
看護師さんを呼びましょうか。
大丈夫ですから、話の続きを。
まあ、注射器の話はそれだけです。それだけが個人的に気になったもので。リカさん、村のマスコットみたい。今、村は騒然としてるみたいですよ。 盲信してた年寄り方と殺してしまった園崎家とで実効支配していた御三家もほぼ全滅状態。
Yeah, I was about to say, who would be like the head
こ
now?
んなタイミングでまたダムの話が出てきたりしたら今度こそ間違いなく敗損でしょうな。
Oh yeah, yeah.
もう俺、ひなみ沢とは関係ありませんから。
I actually was. I just said it because the thought of Hinamizawa being abandoned was unpleasant, and I wanted to end the conversation quickly. There was a knock at the door. Oh my god, a knock at the door. It opened slightly, and my mom asked if we were still talking.
ありゃ、無駄話が過ぎましたか。参ったな。
I looked at the clock. 5 minutes were long past. He told my mother that there was something he really wanted to ask, and if she could wait a little bit longer.
そう手短にね。
There wasn't any getting around the fact that she was thinking about what a police officer could be talking to her son about.
日を改めた方が良さそうですね。
おい、ミオンは今、どうしてるんです？
Bro, just ask the question. Like, this is your fault for babbling and showing a kid porn, bro. Come on. I wanted to just hear the answer and then get rid of him.
それを話す前に本当に正直に答えてもらいたいことがあります。
何ですか？
本当に真面目に答えてください。
Whoa, what is that sprite?
これいい加減なこと言っちゃうと場合によっては捜査か乱と見られて告発される場合もありますからね。
Whoa. Oshi-san kept threatening me until the end. What the hell did he want?
前原さん、シオンさんを突き落とした犯人は誰だと思います？
ミオンしか考えられないじゃないですか。
ではあなたを刺したの誰です？
何度も言わせないでください。ミオンですよ。園崎ミオン。
Oshi-san smiled bitterly, then dabbed at his forehead with a handkerchief to wipe his sweat. He should have expected that answer, and yet it looked as though he wasn't satisfied
シオ
with
ンを
it.
突き落として、俺を刺して。
What was the time like? Was like the time difference like way too like close, and it would be like impossible for her to walk all the way to Shion's apartment and then to
ミ
Keiichi's
オンの
house.
犯行だって、さっき大石さんも認めたじゃないですか。
Yeah, you just said so
シオ
too.
ン殺しの犯人がミオンだという根拠は隣人の男の証言によるものなんです。この隣人ってのは実は暴力団組員、つまりシオンさんのボディーガードだったんですよ。このうちのリーダー格が古参で、園崎姉妹が幼いうちから親身になってた男なんだそうで。
Huh. That man said this? The noise he heard from the door was just like the sound of a fight between sisters that he was used to hearing when they were still living together. And no, there was no doubt about it. He said he heard Mion and Shion insulting each other and heard them struggling. At first, though, he thought it was a hallucination she was having brought on by her dementia. You see, he thought that because that sort of ruckus had been occurring every night. However, that night had been longer than the rest, and he claimed that he went to her room to give her a sedative. The noise died down while he got the manager to give him the key. He already decided he'd at least check up on her, and after she wasn't answering his call, they took the plunge and unlocked the door. Then they saw the room was a mess. Since Shion had been pushed over the balcony, they decided it had to have been Mion. And that's how it happened.
つまり壁越しに聞いたというだけなんです。しかもこのマンション、組の関係で住人がほとんどいないんです。ですからこの騒ぎを聞いてたのも彼らだけ。重ねて言えば園崎ミオンを目撃した者は誰一人いないんです。
見なくったって、そんなのミオンの犯行だってわかるじゃないですか。
That is obviously her.
まあまあ。だから、つまりですね、あなただけが、あの晩、確かに園崎美音を目撃した。もう一人の目撃者のシオンさんは生きておられませんからね。
大石さんが何を言いたいのか、よくわからないんですけど。
Wait, 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 wait. What are you trying to say? I don't really understand. At that point, Oishisan paused. The fact that this was a no-smoke area completely slipped his mind, and he took out a packet of cigarettes again. Kurt checked. He lit one with his lighter and exhaled a long steam of tobacco smoke.
あなた、本当に園崎美音に刺されたんですか？
はい、間違いなく。
The smoke Oishisan breathed out flowed away, like a thundercloud swept away by
大
the
石さ
wind.
ん、ここ禁煙です。看護師さんに怒られますよ。
実は、園崎美音も
What?
井戸の底から見つかったんですよ。
We found Mion Sonozaki at the bottom of the well too.
転落死です。あの井戸の隠し通路から逃げ出そうとしてはしごを降りる途中に足を踏み外し、そこまで転落し、首の骨を折って死亡した。はい。シオンさんと同じにね。首の骨を折って。
Ooh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay, so
え？
あの日、前原さんを気絶させた後、足を踏み外して死んだの。まるで、そこに突き落とした他の犠牲者の死体に呼び寄せられるようにね。
それじゃあ、おかしいじゃないですか。
検視の結果、間違いなく、あなたとシオンさんを襲ってからあそこに戻ったんじゃない。あの日に、すでに死んでいたんです。
My jaw was on the floor. There was absolutely no way that could be. Mion was the only one that stabbed me. It had to have been her. There wouldn't have been anyone else to do it.
じゃあ、誰が俺とシオンを襲ったんですか？誰が？
あなたを襲った園崎美音なのに園崎美音じゃない何者かですよ。
Are they trying to imply that Shion was the one who did all this? My mind had become a complete mess and I was starting to lose my ability to think straight. Okay, was it because Mion was the heir to the Sonozaki family, which is why she was associated with like the demon and like possessed or whatever? But after Mion died, technically Shion would be the successor to the family, if I'm assuming correctly, and be like the next leader because she's the youngest one after her. And would that mean like, oh, the demon possessed Shion afterwards and then tried to kill Keiichi and killed, and maybe used Mion's body and said like, oh, that's Shion, and threw her out the window or at least placed her somewhere where they would notice her body and come to the conclusion that essentially Mion killed both Shion and Keiichi.
高野美代さんの死覚えてますか？
え？高野さん？
Takano-san?
はい、確か遠くの山の中で焼け死んだって聞いたような。
あれは考察された後に焼かれたことが分かっています。検視したのは岐阜県警さんなんですけどね、これがちょっとおかしい。初期の検視結果では死後24時間経過って出ちゃったんです。辻褄が合わないってことで大慌てで当日死亡って改ざんしたらしいんですが、
Oh fuck! Despite me being, I was just reading it in my head. I was like, oh wow, okay. Sorry about that. Despite being an absolute wreck over what was going on with Mion, he was telling me there was even more on top of that. I didn't understand the complex things Oishi-san was telling me.
この死後24時間って検視結果、うちの鑑識のじじいが言うにはですね、かなり信頼できるものらしい。つまりどういうことか。
What would that mean?
これは何度も聞いた質問になりますが、あなた綿流しの晩、高野美代さんに会ってますよね。
合ってます。
I was.
その前日、お祭りの準備の日にも会ってますよね。私もその時お会いしてますし。
ええ、合ってますよ。
死後24時間ってことは、お祭りの前日の晩にはもう死んでるってことになるんですよ。
そんなはず。
Whoa. If she had been dead for 24 hours, then that would mean she was already dead the day before the festival. Okay, hold
お
on a
祭り
minute.
の準備の時には生きていた。でも、あなたたちと一緒に西宮殿に忍び込んだ時、
Okay, buddy, what the fuck are we talking
高
about?
野さんはもうお亡くなりになっていたのです。
The origin of all that happening, the beginning of everything. Our intrusion in the ritual storehouse, which had come to regret countless times. The one who tempted me, Takano-san, when she invited us into the storehouse, she was already no longer of this world?
今回の事件、死人が歩き回りすぎなんですよ。
What the fuck are we doing? There are too many dead people walking around in this incident. An incident caused by a dead person and ended by a dead
園崎
person.
美音の死亡時間を事件当日ではなく、あなたを刺した直後に改ざんせよとの圧力も来てるみたいです。この事件をとっとと終わらせようとする外圧でしょうね。ですので、今の話はどうか他言無用に願いますよ。
Bro, I'm like a teenager. Like, you cannot tell me that. Like, I'm gonna babble to anyone. Oh my god, did you guys hear? Oishi-san grabbed his jacket that had been hanging on the chair, put out his cigarette with the bottom of his foot, and started pretending to wave away the smoke floating around.
長居しました。あなたにとっての事件をせめて終わらせてあげようと思って来たつもりだったんですがね、かえって煙に巻いちゃったようで。
Absent-mindedly, he walked towards the door, looked at me, unable to speak out of the corner of his
もし
eye.
も今後話したいことができたらいつでもお電話ください。さっきのお土産の中に私の名刺が入ってますんで。
In the fucking porno magazines, bro, really?
その時はまた素敵なお土産を持ってお見舞いに来ますよ。
This fucking weirdo, bro. Get out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Oshi-san seemed to think I was still hiding something. Bro, this is all I know. I can't be hiding anything else, brother. Hiding something that after all this, would be hiding something? I'm the one things are being hidden from. I'm the one things are being hidden from. That's a weird way of saying it, but yeah, I get it. I'm the one who wants to
で
know.
は、お大事に。
Until we meet again. Slam! I listened to the tap-tap of Oishi-san walking down the hallway. I still couldn't return from my state of bewilderment. When I ended this incident as it applied to me. He wanted to end this incident as it applied to me. What was over? Nothing was over. The incident was still continuing. Whoa. What? Then slip. An arm covered in fresh blood came out from underneath the bed. Oh shit. I wasn't that surprised. It was an illusion I was seizing with
ケイ
fear.
ちゃん。だから言ったでしょ
I heard a guttural voice coming from under the bed. I still recognized it as Mion's
なん
voice.
だ、ミオン。何を言ったって？
私、あの日に警告したよ。今日以降、私の姿を見たとしても、それは私の屍に取り付いた。
そうだな。言ってたよな。
Oh my god, Keiichi's kind of losing it too.
ちょっと注意が足らなかったな。だから刺されちゃったんだな。
Oh my fucking god. Possibly wounds sustained when she fell from the ladder. Many of her fingernails were broken and torn. Her arm slowly felt about on top of the bed, searching for mine.
あのさ、ミオン。俺今、こんな冗談を聞いてくれるか？
Then Mion under the bed didn't answer.
例えばさ、俺が今日、ここで死んじゃうんだよ。だけども、明日以降もここにいて、で、後で、それが大石のやつに分かって、またしても死亡日時が合わない。死んだはずの人間が生活していたって言って、泡を食って大騒ぎするんだよ。高野さんにミオン、そして俺で3人目。な？面白いだろ？
Funny,
笑え
right?
るだろ？
Oh, Keiichi. Yeah, like this is just driving him crazy.
ケイちゃん。
笑えよ。それ
Laugh
とも、
or
あんまり面白くなかったか？
laugh, or was it not funny? Am I not amusing? Mion's bloodstained hand groped around and found my wrist. Though her fingernails were torn, she gripped it hard, as if scratching me.
加減しろよ。痛いって。
Itaite.
ケイちゃん。迎えに来たよ。
I've come for you. I tried to shake my wrist loose, but the strength she held it with was unbelievable, and I couldn't. She was only gripping one wrist, and yet my whole body wouldn't move. I couldn't even twitch. My fingernails were spread apart, and I couldn't make a fist either. And that fact that I couldn't make a fist reminded me of the restraining table. I felt a crooked nail press against my left pinky finger. Oh my god. Mion's forehead was split open, and with a face covered with blood, she smiled and got right up, right behind me.
何も終わってない。何も終わってない。この事件は、何も終わってなんかない。まだ続いてる。まだまだ続いてる。誰か、この事件を終わらせてください。この残酷で無残で気の毒で悲しい。この事件を終わらせてください。それだけが、俺の望みです。
あの時、一つ叶えてあげたで、今度はダメ。
Mion firmly held a nail down on my fingertip, and with her other hand she slowly swung a mallet into the air and... Oh god. Oh fuck. Oh my god. New scenario unlocked. Yay! What a jux. That little chime. That little chime, really? Was that necessary? All cast review sessions has become available. Extras. Alright, that was the last nail. That's the achievement that I got. Alright, well that was it, guys. We have the extras. All cast review session, chapter jump, view tips. Did we get any other tips? No, right? That was it. Yeah, that was it. Yeah, the Mahjong parlor was the last tip we got. Alright, that was the how long is this? Class review sessions. Class, I said cast. Alright, let's see. Yeah, it's roughly around 5 to 10, 20 minutes to read. Okay, yeah, you know what, let's just do it. Let's do it. The class review sessions. The class, I keep saying class, cast.
Higurashiの泣く頃に水、Watanagashiを最後までお楽しみいただき、誠にありがとうございました。
Watanagashi,
今度のシ
yay!
ナリオはいかがだったでしょうか。
How did you like the story this time? It was pretty good, pretty good. A little lengthy. I think it was a little long at points, but overall it was very, very good. Hold on, let me turn on the lights real quick. The highs of this story were very, very high. I really like all the high sections of this story. It was very strong. Alright, I'm just gonna order some food and then we're gonna continue. Thank you very much.
ちょっぴりでもお楽しみいただければ幸いです。
I'm happy. Aw, thank you,
ちょ
Rena.
っぴりも何も、また大大バッドエンドですわ。プンプンでございますことよ。プンプンなのです。
I'm furious too.
いやー、みんなお疲れ。まあ、終わり方こそあれだったけど、今回のシナリオは事実上ミオン編みたいなもんだったんじゃない？
Kind of like a Mion chapter, yeah.
私大活躍で大満足。にゃはははは。
Oh my god, stop laughing, girl. You're creeping me out.
あんなの大活躍と私もリカも殺されちゃったですのよ。
Oh wow.
しかもサトコはただのとばっちりなのですよ。わあ、あんな死に方嫌なのですな。
Yeah, it was a pretty brutal way to die, not gonna lie.
ほら泣かないで。みーちゃんメインのお話だったように、サトコちゃんメインのお話もあるんだから。
I think that's the next chapter. I like the Steam like little pages thing. It has like each girl. The next one is Satoko. So yeah, I'm assuming the next one's hers. And then after that is Rika.
今から楽しみだね。
Look forward to it.
きっとサトコがひどい目にあってじわりじわりといたぶり回される話に違いないね。
Oh my god. What the fuck?
そうなの嫌。
Oh, poor Satoko. I know I call you a little brat, but I do like you, Satoko. Bam! Bam! Oh,
みーちゃん
nice. Nice, nice. Good shit, good shit.
悪ふざけが過ぎるとレナもちょっとだけ怒るよ。
Yeah, Rena was the goat in this this section, the Watanagashi section.
みーがぺったんこなのです。
Me has a flat
なで
chest.
なでしたくても頭がわからないのです。あ、膨らんできましたわ。無節操な体ですのね。
やあみんな、
Yo, everyone.
お疲れさん。
また遅れて申し訳ありませんね。
富武さんに大石さん、どうもお疲れ様でした。あれ、高野さんとしーちゃんはまだですか？
もちろん来てますよ。今日はお招きいただきありがとうございますね。
You're welcome for the invite. Okay, wait. So what happened to Shion then? Was it really just a ghost? Like a ghost, like a spirit, a demon? With Mion's possessed body or something? Fuck it, whatever. Well, I don't know.
ここ座ってもいい？
Hey girl, get in
どうぞ
here.
ですわよ。
Oh, why is she nice to Shion?
これだけ一度に集まると圧巻ね。どうかお手柔らかに。
Go easy on me.
じゃあ始めても大丈夫かな。これで全員かな。圭一を除けば全員なのです。
ってことは、前原さんは相変わらず収録が終わってなくて、早々に次回シナリオの台本読みなんだ。
Oh yeah, right. I remember they said stuff like that. Oh, they were like, he doesn't even have a sprite. Like, even if he did show up, we wouldn't even see him.
気の毒な話。
From what I remember, I think they said that.
私たちだけで盛り上がっちゃ悪い気がするわ。
高野さん、そんなの気にしなくていいんですよ。こういう時は思いっきり盛り上がった方がかえって気を使わせないもんなんです。
It's actually a wish on consideration.
それもそうですわね。せっかくこれだけ集まったのにお通夜じゃつまらないですわ。
じゃあ圭一君には悪いけど僕たちでやらせてもらおうか。
そうなれば決まりだね。
It's
じゃあみ
decided.
んなコップコップ。炭酸が嫌いな人いる？
大人の皆さんにはアルコールもありますよ。
リカちゃんは何を飲む？ブドウジュース？オレンジジュース？
Oh, okay. I thought he was about to ask, what are you gonna have? Fucking vodka or like champagne?
富武のと同じ泡麦茶がいいのです。
Hey.
こーら、リカちゃんもお酒はダメ。みんなコップ持ちましたですの？早く乾杯しないとジュースがぬるくなってしまいますわ。
I doubt your juice is gonna get warm
今
that
度は
fast.
誰が取るの？レナでいいでしょ。じゃあレナよろしく。
ではみんな綿流し終了。お疲れ様でした。
お疲れ様でした。
Woo, we did it. Clap, clap, clap.
じゃあみんな揃ったんだ。また今回のシナリオを議論してみないかい？
そうですね。じゃあ自由意見でいきましょうか。
Some honest
誰
opinion.
か意見のある人はいますか？意見も何も今回のシナリオで謎は全て解けたのではありませんか？
Yeah, I was about to say, it felt more close-ended this time around. It felt like the last one was very, very, like, had a lot of loose
ミ
ends.
オンさん、
Criminal was
諸悪
me
の
on.
根源は全部その崎家。それで決着でございませんの？そうだね。みーちゃんは犯人じゃないって信じてたんだけどな。
大甘ですよ。
Too naive.
こんなのは前回の鬼隠しから十分予想できたことじゃないですか。むしろ予想通りすぎて呆れちゃうくらいですよ。
そうですね。前回のシナリオをプレイされた方の予想の大多数と合致するんじゃないでしょうかね。
みんなの期待通りの展開になったみたいなのです。じゃあこれで日暮の泣く頃に水のメインシナリオはほとんど終わりなのかな。
Huh.
全ての元凶はみーちゃんの園崎家で決まり？
Michan's family, they all did it.
そうかしら。私はむしろこれで園崎家犯人説はなくなったと思ってるくらいだけれど。
あ、高野さんと意見が合いましたね。私も同じ意見。私はタタリなんか信じないけど、
I still
で
don't
も
believe in
少なく
curses.
とも園崎家が真犯人である確率は薄くなったと思ってるね。
Oh, really?
どうしてなの？だってみーちゃんがみんなを殺したって自供したじゃない。 そうですわ。私とリカを殺しておいて今さら犯人じゃないなんてどういう意味なんですの？
別に煙に巻くつもりはないよ。たださ、私ミオンが全ての犯人だとするにはいろいろと無理が多い。ちょっと考えればすぐわかるよ。
僕は園崎家犯人説の近からず遠からずに真相があると確信してるんだけど、ぜひミオンちゃんの説が聞きたいね。
Yeah, what the hell's going on?
ではご拝聴。ラストで私がさ、過去の事件に自分は全て関与してあそこで感じた大きな違和感が根拠かな。だって考えてみなよ。過去の事件が園崎家の起こしたものならすごいことだよ。だってどれもほぼ完全犯罪でしょ。園崎家以外の犯人や事故で決着するという究極の犯罪だもの。そりゃそうでしょう。だって大きな力を持つ園崎家が暗躍し完全犯罪なんてお茶の子さいさいでしょ。そこが違和感なんだよ。過去4年間園崎本家の気配を全く感じさせずにあれだけ上手に人を殺したり消したりしてきたんだよ。
Okay, so she's trying to imply that it would be too easy.
5年目の事件はすごくチープなんだよ。手当たり次第に片っ端から消して殺して、しかも園崎家とのつながりは簡単に看破できちゃうしさ。
そう言われてみればそうだね。過去の事件はたたりとも犯罪ともつかない不思議な連続事件だったけど、今回の5年目の事件だけはすごく乱暴だったもんね。
Yeah, okay. So the other ones were more vague on whether or not it was an actual curse or if it was like just people being fucked. Like, but this time around it was very clear that it was just orchestrated by the Sonosaki family.
何を言ってるのかよくわかりません。リカにはわかります？つまり園崎家が本当に犯人なら5年目の事件ももっともっと上手にやったと言っているのですよ。じゃあつまり何ですの？私とリカを殺したのはミオンさんではなく、ミオンさんに取り付いた鬼の仕業だったってことですの？ほら、やっぱり前回の私の予想通り、ミオンさんは悪い人じゃなかったのですわ。
Oh, she really doesn't want Mion to be a bad person.
そう。レナもサトコちゃんも何かが取り付いて悪いことをしてる？じゃあやっぱり私たちの説は正しかったの？
私も前回から引き続きたたり説ですが、今回のシナリオでさらに確信を深めましたよ。ラストのラストで私が明かす。
Okay, Oshi in these things saying that he believes in the curses, but in the main story, isn't he like very adamant about like, no, this is not a curse, it's just a bunch of people orchestrating these crimes?
目撃されていたにもかかわらず、その数日前に死んでいたという高野さんやミオンさんの情報はまさにそれを。
あらあら、前回は弱かったたたり派が今回は随分強気ね。人間犯人説の皆さんには反論はないのかしら？
前回人間犯人説だったのは確かみーちゃんに、それから富武さんでしたよね。では張り切って反論をお願いします。
参ったな。うまい言葉が思いつかないな。
たたり派の根拠の一つが合わない死亡時刻なんですよね。じゃあそのトリックを崩せれば人間犯人説は立証できるわけですね。お、シオンには何かいい反論があるの？まあ一応。でも私人間犯人説ではお姉と同じ意見ですけど、園崎家が主犯だと思ってる点ではお姉、それでもよければ反論してみせますけど。
My objection.
何でも結構ですわ。これがたたりじゃないというならその証拠を示してごらんなさいませ。
じゃあシオンちゃん、さっきから話題になってるミオンちゃんは事件当日に井戸に落ちて死んでいたにもかかわらず数日後に現れてケイチ君とあなたを殺したの。
ズバリ園崎姉妹共犯。理由は簡単だって、お姉はあの時点でもう死んでるんですから、ケイちゃんをさせるのは私しかいないんです。 私がお姉に変装してケイちゃん
That was my theory. That
そ
was my
して実
theory.
生戻り幽霊との取っ組み合いの狂言をして飛び降り自殺。
Kill
強いて
yourself
言えばこの場合のミオンちゃんは泥をかぶるやつ、
on some free run shit. Fucking kill yourself. That's an exact quote, by the way.
村長さんたちに直接手を下し、シオンちゃんはただの被害者に、そして井戸の中に姿を隠していれば変装したシオンちゃんが神出鬼没にいくらでも殺人を犯せるって寸法さ。
なるほどね。だとするとミオンさんにとっての
We gotta make
誤算
two
は
mistakes.
死体が見つかってしまったことと隠れているだけのつもりが死ってことになるわけですね。
あれれれ、確かになんとなく辻褄が合うような。
でもやっぱり納得できないでしょう。過去の完全犯罪の華麗さと違いすぎるもの。その計画たとえうまくいってもミオンは悪役でしょ。一生隠れてあるいはシオンのふりをしたりして生きていかなきゃならないんでしょ。窮屈すぎ。こんなの完全犯罪とは言わないって。
つまり死ぬにせよ消えるにせよミーはいなくなってしまうわけなのです。
リカちゃま、それいい意見。つまり園崎ミオンが表舞台からいなくなるのは彼女らのシナリオの一部だと思うわけだから、ラストでミオンはポンポンと過去の事件の罪をかぶるんですよ。全部の事件の責任を一身に引き受けて退場。そうすることで過去の事件の真犯人を隠蔽できる。つまり今年の事件はチープなんかじゃなく、過去の事件を丸ごと完全犯罪にするための締めくくりの事件、そういう位置づけになるのかな。
一番疑われてる園崎家の若き当主が全てを自白して彼女もしくは園崎家以外の真犯人にとってこれほど美味しい結末はないってことに
No
なる
more
のかし
favorable
ら、
outcomes, huh? Okay.
話が全然わかりませんのよ。
It is a little convoluted, I'm not gonna lie.
ミオンさんが罪をかぶるってどういう意味ですの？犯人なんじゃないんですの？つまりね、連続開始事件の真犯人が別にいるの。その人を守るためにみーちゃんが過去の事件も全て自分が起こしたと嘘の告白を
Yeah,
し
okay.
た。
これは劇中のセリフになりますが、とんだ名探偵さんがいたもんです。確かに
Yeah,
ちょっと説
Rena.
得力を感じ
Rena's
ます。
like our like detective friend, you know, like other games, like Danganronpa, like Kyoko or like Nagito, like where you got like the buddy, or like in Ace Attorney Maya, you got Maya in some of the games.
真の犯人をごまかすために起こした事件、それが私の推理。さらに言えばその真の犯人は園崎家以外の存在だと思ってるんだけど、
4
Oh,
年連続で完全犯罪に成功した謎の人物をさらに守るためにミオンちゃんが起こした
そういうことです。鬼隠しのシナリオで名前だけ登場した監督ってのがかなり怪しいかな。
すごいです。実に辻褄が合いますのですよ。
clap, clap, clap.
私はそれでも園崎家プラス姉妹が犯人、御三家による古いしがらみを断ち切るために姉妹が起こした過去の清算のための事件、それが私の推理です。
That's my theory.
過去の清算ってのはつまり暗躍の歴史に終止符を打つため御三家の罪を最後の当主のミオンが全てかぶり姉妹揃って退場したってこと。
そういうことです。私たち姉妹が悩みに悩み抜いた末に選んだ悲しい物語だったというわけです。できすぎですね。
すごいです。実に辻褄が合いますですよ。
Clap, clap, clap.
あれあれ、
Rika's just clapping for everyone.
なん
Wait,
だ
what?
かリカちゃんにも意見。リカちゃんもどうぞ。では皆さんにケイチはどうして刺されなければいけないのですか？リカ、そんなのは決まって、入っちゃいけない細具店に勝手に入ったから決まってますわ。
こうして思い返すと他のシナリオでも死んだ富武さんと高野さんの死も
Oh, okay. Yeah, I actually didn't even point that out. Like, that could be a possibility.
ありゃ
おかしなことになってきたわね。
おかしなことって何が？あ、レナさん、そうですわ。思い出してくださいませ。そうなのです。例えば鬼隠しのシナリオではケイチは西宮殿には忍び込んでいないのに、
Okay,
命を
okay.
狙われているのです。
So Keiichi being targeted is irrelevant to the storehouse. Like, the storehouse doesn't actually
そ
affect
れは
that.
きっとほらひなみ沢はよそ者を嫌うんだろ。だからケイチ君も命を狙われたんだよ。
But they protected Keiichi in Watanagashi. They all like defended him at that one point.
それはおかしいでしょう。だったらケイちゃんの両親だって襲われていいはず。
Yeah, Keiichi's parents are always fine.
どう見ても両親に危機が迫っていたようには見えないね。今回だけでなく他のシナリオでも。
さあさあ、人間犯人説の皆様方、ケイチさんが狙われる理由がちゃんと説明できませんと人間が犯人とは立証できませんでしたよ。
でもたたり説だとしてもやはり前原さんが前回も今回も襲われる理由が分かりませんけどね。
もう一息で解明できそうだったけど、やっぱり謎はたくさん残ってるみたいだね。
圭一君以外の人の死には何かしら理由が見つけられるんだけど、圭一君だけなぜかいつも曖昧。鬼隠しで
Keiichi's
も
death is always
払
vague.
い回しでも
Okay, yeah, that is true.
西宮殿に踏み入るのとは無関係に狙われてる。
では今回だけではなく他のシナリオでも殺されるようなことをしちゃってるんじゃあり
Oh,
ませ
okay,
んか？
okay. Something that he did both times.
なるほど。他のシナリオと今回の前原さんの行動に共通項が見つけられれば、それが全体の事件の謎を解く鍵
Okay,
にな
okay,
る。
yeah, yeah, that's interesting.
ざっとシナリオを読み比べたけど、圭一君なりに日々を送ってると。西宮殿の一件さえ除けば圭一君の日々の暮らしに不審な点は見当たらないけどな。
ケイチ君、今回と他のシナリオの時に殺されるような悪いこと、迷った時には本人に聞いてみるのが一番なのですよ。
What? You're calling Keiichi?
俺が一人寂しく次回の台本読みをしている間にみんなはそういう話題で盛り上がる。
というわけなんだからね、ケイチ君の自分の胸に聞いてみてほしいんだ。
ケイちゃん、殺されるようなどんな悪いことをやったわけ？
私にいつも働いている老石のせいに違いないですわ。僕に時々
Well, you
危ない
deserve
視
it,
線を
Satiko.
向けて妄想に浸っている顔はまさに犯罪者そのものなのです。
What the fuck?
そうそう、年頃の女の子たちに囲まれて毎日幸せってのがそもそもの罪のような気がするな。
That is true. He should be killed for something like that.
なそれは確かに重罪ですね。
Oh, for sure. Yo, fuck that
前原
guy.
さん、実に羨ましい主人公役ですよ。
Dude, that's a VN protagonist. They just have girls all around them.
たまには変わってください。
Bruh, you're a grown ass man. You're fucking weird. Alright, wait, hold on a second. I gotta go get something outside. Alright, I'm back. Let's finish this.
まあ確かにあれだけ役得がいろいろあれば最後にちょっと
Yeah, you know what? Fuck Keiichi. This guy gets everything, bro.
というわけでケイイチさん、あなたの犯した罪を思い出しまして。
今回も他のシナリオでも清く正しく生きてる俺がいつもラストはひどい目に。その上さらに自分にしたいのは俺の方だぞ。これは何かの暴力だ。
This is bullying.
かわいそうかわいそうで、今度頭をなでなでしてあげますですよ。
今回のシ
Rika-chan.
ナリオを読んだ上で改めて鬼隠しを読むべきかな。
What could he have done?
私はミオンの立場になって渡流しを読み返してみるよ。ケイちゃんの立場で読んだ時とは違う発見があるかもね。
私は鬼の仕業だとずーっと思ってますのよ。すべての現象とトリックはすべて鬼で説明がつきます。なんだかプラズマみたいなのです。
Kind of like plasma.
プレイしてくださった皆さんはどうお感じに。ぜひ先に進む前にいろいろと推理してみて。
まだまだ先は長いですけど頑張ってくださいね。
それでは引き続き日暮らしの泣く頃に推をお楽しみください。
Woo! Wow, it was just that much. I could have just finished it. Oh well, it's fine. That's pretty fun. These are just fun, like fluff pieces. They do get you to like at least think about certain things. Something that Keiichi did that he did in both of them. That didn't what's this chapter jump? Oh yeah, these are just chapter select. Yeah. Oh wow, there was actually. Oh wow, yeah, there was like 12 days. Okay. Yeah, it just gets you to like think about like, okay, you know what? I'm not gonna reread it, but I am gonna go into the next chapter wondering what Keiichi did that was the same in all of them. Even if it's not the exact same action, the intention was the same, or maybe the sort of like it had a same idea of like something that he did that was bad. I'm gonna be really paying attention for that now. Okay. So, but with that was really good. I really liked it. I liked Watanagashi a lot. Again, I think it was probably a little too long. Definitely a little too light, too fluffy, and a little too much fluff. I do enjoy the slice of life stuff. The slice of life stuff does make the sort of like turn at the end a lot better. But I wonder if they can keep this up for another 2. Because I'm not gonna lie, like if we go through a third route of slice of life and then just dips into horror, it might get a little old. And I'm like, okay, I get it. You were doing slice of life stuff and it's fun, but I kind of want more interested in just learning about what's going on, or maybe just discovering another mystery. I don't know. But this one was very long. It was a very long part. But overall, I did like it. I think the overall like mystery was maybe not as interesting. Not that it wasn't as interesting. I do like the melancholy of this chapter a little more than the first one. The first one was a little melancholy, but this part was really sad. Like I was really sad when we learned about Rika-chan and Satoko, like what happened to them, and there was like this weird moment that kind of made me very upset, where like Mion was like getting upset and shaking in the ladder scene. I guess it's an infamous ladder scene, people talk about it, and she just randomly was like, oh yeah, they abused Satoko and she still causes trouble after all this time, or something like that. And it just implies that Satoko went through kind of a lot of bad stuff, and you know, her part is the next part, so I'm very curious to see what happened with her, especially with her brother, considering her brother disappeared and she's just spending time with Rika-chan. I am very curious. Again, I'll say this one last time, because after this, the next 2 chapters, which I know there's more chapters after that, but at least the ones focusing on the main girls, I don't know how, I think it's like question and answer, so they kind of answer the questions of the first part later on. I think that's how it works. So it's going to be Rena, Mion, Satoko, Rika, and then sort of loop around again to that same order. And we sort of get the answers, I guess. I think that's how it works in this game series. But the next part is Satoko. So I'm gonna say this one last time. This is the last thing I remember from when I saw the original anime back in the day, and I only saw the question sections of the anime. I didn't see the answer arcs. So I knew that Mion had a sister. I knew that they were sort of polar opposites or something, but I don't remember much else about them. So going from chapter 3 onward, I don't know anything that happens in these games. So I'm very excited. I'm very excited to learn more about Satoko and of course Rika. Those two characters seem very interesting. So again, I can't wait. Anyway, thank you anyone who stuck around, watched, chilled or whatever. And I'll see you guys next time. I'm gonna continue Higurashi with the